by the President.
Honorable Osoro, stop shouting across the House.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, thank you very much for granting me this opportunity to also express my views on the State of the Nation addressed by the President. I would say in summary, the President's speech was short, it was concise, it was hopeful and very forward-looking. Honorable Speaker, I can't agree more with the Majority Whip by saying that the President touched on key issues affecting Kenyans. Honorable Speaker, the President talked at length about the state of the food security in the country, and he had very good news for particularly the sugar farmers when he told the nation that out of the 17 sugar industries we have in the country, they are all now functional, up and running. And that for the first time since independence, we've had surplus of sugar production in this country. Honorable Speaker, the President also had very good news for the coffee farmers when he expressed the fact that now coffee farmers are enjoying good prices. Honorable Speaker, the President also talked about health, and he elucidated at length about SHIF and SHA, and he particularly drew a clear difference why Taifa Care under SHA is more superior than the former NHIF. Honorable Speaker, the President also addressed the question around education, and he particularly touched about the teacher crisis and how the country and the government is going about addressing the question of teacher crisis. He addressed the question of CBC and also addressed the question of the crisis in our universities now, when we have strike by lecturers and most of the students from universities are languishing at home without going to university. The President also addressed and condemned the question around disappearances and illegal arrests, and he termed it as a threat to life to Kenyans. The President also talked about wastage and corruption, and you can remember we had a standing ovation for the President when he particularly talked about the Adani deals and the fact that the JKI expansion work and the Ketraco power line expansions were both suspended or cancelled. Honorable Speaker, two things that I wish the President had addressed in his speech, which he did not. When the President talked about food security, and he really had good news for the sugar farmers and the coffee farmers, I wish the President also addressed about the state of the livestock farmers in this country. Livestock industry is an industry which is supporting about 10 million Kenyans in 14 ASAL counties. It contributes 12% to the GDP, and it contributes to 50% of the agriculture labor force. It is an industry which is affected by drought and conflicts, and I wish the President addressed the state of the livestock industry in relation to the food security component that he addressed in his, and perhaps going forward, whenever we address the question on food security and agriculture, I think we should always make effort to address the question of livestock component of the agriculture sector. Honorable Speaker, I also wish when the President talked about enforced disappearances, the impression was that those people who've disappeared are only those ones who are missing after the demonstrations. In parts of Northeastern, there are people who have been disappearing under enforced disappearance and extrajudicial killings. In my constituency, for example, I have 3 of Kenyans who are missing since the last 6 months. Hassan Mali of ID number 26881584. Adan Mali of ID number 35332269. Abdi Ali Abdullahi of ID number 23490434 are all my constituents who have been missing since the last 6 months. And I wish the President addressed the question of disappearances in Northeastern, not just the enforced disappearance after the demonstrations in this country. Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for the opportunity.
Thank you. The Honorable Member for Narok, Honorable Tonkei.